Hello, and welcome to this video, which is intended to provide general information and a basic overview of the terminal application for the LIAB 585 controller from Loytec. The terminal application is a fully IP-based, variable air volume and variable volume and temperature controller with a predefined, configurable, and flexible application. An HTML5 based configuration tool supports fast and flexible unit configuration. Each terminal controller is simultaneously multi-protocol and can communicate with BACnet, OPC, Modbus, LAN, SNMP, and other protocols. There are 9 predefined applications categorized into 4 types: cooling box, parallel fan box, series fan box, and dual duct box. Manual selection of input and output allocations are also available to allow custom adjustments based on the requirements of the equipment, terminated sensors, and control outputs as desired. This video focuses on the terminal application for the LIAB 585. Basic device operations can be read about in the Loytec user manuals available on the Loytec website, loytec.com. The first step to use the terminal application will be to restore the project to your LIAB 585 controller. To do this, you must first open the web user interface for the controller. Connect your PC to the same network as the LIAB device and enter the IP address of the device into the search bar of any internet browser. Doing this will take you to the device info page of the LIAB 585's web UI. Select Config from the left side of the screen. You will be prompted to enter a password. The default password for all Loytec devices is, all lowercase, Loytec4U. Once you have entered the password, select Continue. Underneath Config, on the left side of the screen, select Backup/Restore. Deselect the checkbox to restore IP configuration. Next, select Choose File, and select the zip folder you were provided with. Select Restore, and then, when prompted, reset the device for the changes to take effect. Once the device has finished rebooting, the terminal application will be installed on the LIAB 585. The terminal application has a built-in graphical project used for operation, supervision, and device configuration. To access the graphic project, select LWeb from the left side of the web UI. You may be prompted to once again enter the admin password. You will see the LWeb graphical project file in the LWeb project list. Select the globe icon, the rightmost icon, to open the LWeb project in a new tab of your internet browser. This is one of the home screen dashboards. There will be an explanation of the home screens after the initial configuration of the terminal application. You can change the language of the graphic at any time by using the control located in the top right of the graphic. To configure the terminal application, you must first log in. Several levels of permissions are used in the configuration tool to prevent unauthorized access to the configuration screens, set points, schedules, etc. Each higher level will include the permissions of all lower levels. The public level provides read-only access to statuses, trends, and alarm screens. The user level provides additional access to setpoint adjustments. The operator can add, delete, and edit schedules. The power user has access to the I/O configuration, filters, calibrations, deadbands, ranges, and all configurable points except for the unit type, the system units, and to reset parameters. Lastly, the administrator has access to all configurations. To log in, select the padlock icon located at the bottom left of the graphic. Select the orange asterisk to open the keypad and enter the administrator password, and then select OK. All of the default PIN codes can be found in the Terminal Application User Manual. You can log out at any time by selecting the lock icon again. You will be automatically logged out after 5 minutes of inactivity. Select the now visible gear icon at the bottom right of the graphic to begin configuring the controller. Throughout the graphic, different colors are used to indicate different things. White text is used specifically for labels and to indicate that a value is read-only. Any text in orange indicates a user-adjustable variable. This could be a drop-down menu for selecting options or a numeric value for setpoint changes. Blue is used for selecting options within the configuration settings. A blue background means the selection is active. Gray indicates that an option is inactive or invalid based on the current configuration. Lastly, light gray is used to show that parameter is a monitored-only value, not used for controlling purposes. The first thing to configure is the system units, as changing those will cause the device to reboot. Using the option in the General Settings tile, you can switch between imperial and metric units, as well as set a relative setpoint or an absolute one, and determine the default mode of either heating or cooling. The rest of the settings that will be configured are within the terminal application program and will not cause the device to reboot. Once the controller is finished rebooting, the next step is to set the unit type. Select the orange text next to unit type and a pop-up will appear. Choose one of the 4 available types, then select a unit style and unit control. Wait until the timer at the top of the screen expires before making any additional changes. Information about each unit type can be found in sections 6.4 through 6.7 in the Terminal Application User Manual. You can provide a name to this specific device by selecting the question marks next to unit name. Lastly, there is an option to reset the entire configuration back to default values. A pop-up will require confirmation before the values are reset. You can use the buttons on the left side of the graphic to navigate to the different configuration pages. The available configuration pages will change depending on the unit type and unit control selected. The next page is the set points page. All of the various set points can be set here. Analytics and diagnostics built into the terminal application will notify and prevent unacceptable or improper adjustments of set points via the config tool. For example, when the occupied cool set point is set below the minimum, the terminal application instead sets the value at the lowest value allowed. To maintain the desired deadband separation between the occupied heat and cool set points, the occupied heat set point is then adjusted accordingly. Inversely, if the occupied heat set point is increased, the occupied cool set point will increase as well. Other conditions have been programmed, so keep an eye out for the indicator lines as you configure your device. The next configuration page is for flow set points or damper ranges depending on the unit control. After that is a page for damper control. The damper style, rotation, and dimensions are set from this page. Parameters like the integral rate and deadband can also be set from this page. A Belimo MP-Bus actuator that is wired to the Liab 585 will be automatically commissioned by the terminal application. Next is the configuration page for air calibration for pressure-independent systems. The terminal application provides a step-by-step tutorial for balancing the configured airflow sensor. This can be accessed by clicking on the step icon located at the top of the screen. If enabled, the terminal application can also be calibrated using the LSTAT wall module. Instructions of how to calibrate the system using the LSTAT can be found in the Terminal Application User Manual, section 6.8. After the air calibration page is the configuration page for fan control. If your terminal unit requires delays or a parallel fan, they can be configured here. The Reheat Control page allows the user to configure the PID loop controlling reheat by selecting the settings icon. If there is peripheral heating, it is configured from this page. Ventilation can be configured using one of 3 setpoint standards that can be read about in the Terminal Application User Manual, Section 8.11. Dehumidification and Optimum Start and Stop have their own configuration setting pages. If an LSTAT wall module is wired to the LEAP 585, it will also be automatically commissioned and available to configure from this page. You have the option to balance the units directly from the LSTAT. This feature is enabled or disabled from the General Settings tab of the configuration page. You have the choice of what is displayed on the LSTAT. Choose Simple, Full, or Custom, depending on what you want your LSTAT to display. You can have a custom label scroll across the top corner of the LSTAT by selecting Show Custom Label. The custom label of the LSTAT must be in all capital letters. A 4-digit PIN code can be assigned to the LSTAT to prevent unauthorized inputs if you so choose. A separate PIN code can be set for the balancer. A representation of the LSTAT display is shown in the bottom corner of the graphic. Unless otherwise set, the LSTAT will display values in the same unit as the rest of the terminal application. You can read more about the LSTAT configuration in Section 8.14 of the Terminal Application User Manual. The MP Bus page of the configuration is where you will configure a Belimo actuator to be controlled by the terminal application. The MP Bus settings can be read about in Section 8.15 of the Terminal Application User Manual. Based on the unit type and unit style selected, hardware inputs and outputs, communicating sensors, commissioned actuators, and external communicating data points are automatically determined. Universal inputs 1 through 4 are set up to be resistive-only inputs. This includes thermistors, resistors, and dry contact style sensors. Universal inputs 5 and 6 are set up to be voltage-only inputs. The input value press is used for the onboard pressure transducer, which has a range of 0 to 500 Pascal or 0 to 2 inches of water column. A filter and offset can be configured for all of the inputs and the pressure transducer. The filter will help smooth values for inputs used for controlling and monitoring. Digital outputs 1 through 5 can control any on-off device. Analog outputs 1 and 2 control 0 to 10 VDC devices. Output range options of 0 to 10 VDC and 2 to 10 VDC can also be selected. Additional I/O can be assigned by selecting the orange text and then choosing from the available options in the list that appears. If manual mode is selected, each of the I/O can then be adjusted to fit your specific needs. The In Assignment page provides detailed information of all input configuration options. If the input has a settings icon next to it, you can select it to create a pop-up with additional settings and information. Alarm conditions can be added to many of the inputs, such as high and low deviation and an unreliable alarm. If multiple sensors are present, you can choose whether to use the minimum, maximum, or average of the reliable values for control. The Out Assignments page provides detailed information of all the output configuration options. Specifics about the in and out assignments can be read about in sections 8.13 and 8.14 respectively in the Terminal Application User Manual. The final page, the Wiring Diagram page, is only accessible to the power user or administrator. The wiring diagram will automatically adjust inputs, outputs, communicating sensors, and actuators based on the configuration of the unit. The wiring diagram does show live values. The terminal application is now configured. Select the Home icon located in the bottom left of the graphic to return to the home screen. This is the simple screen of the terminal application. A large tile on the left of the screen currently shows the temperature and temperature set points. The set points can be adjusted by selecting the orange number above either the heating icon or the cooling icon. Depending on the configuration of your device, additional information can also be displayed by selecting the icons from the bottom of this tile. A trend chart in the lower right tile also changes as you select the different options. The trend will show the past 12 hours. You can see specific values by clicking on the trend. You can also choose to hide some of the values by selecting the checkboxes next to each value. Next, there is a box labeled Schedule. Depending on the configuration, the visible image will be different. A window contact or occupancy sensor will become visible, and the location and color of the person icon will change. If an occupancy sensor is present, the person in the house will change color from gray to green when the room becomes occupied. If an occupancy sensor is not present, the person icon will change depending on the mode. When the room is in auto mode, or in an occupied state, the icon will be green and inside the house. In unoccupied mode, the icon will be gray and outside the house. In bypass mode, the icon will flash red. In standby mode, the icon will be gray and inside the house. In pre-cool mode, the icon will be blue and inside the house. And lastly, in morning warm-up, the icon of the person will be a solid red inside the house. Sections 5.8 of the terminal application will explain the scheduled events in greater detail. The final tile on the simple screen of the terminal application graphic is the operation tile. If the application is satisfied, a green checkmark will be displayed. A red heating icon will be shown when the application is in heating mode, and a blue snowflake will be shown for cooling mode. There are 3 other operation modes. A green snowflake will be shown for economizing mode. The orange icon is shown if the application is in ventilation mode, and a blue water drop with a line through it is used to show dehumidification. Section 5.9 of the terminal application will explain the operation modes in greater detail. If you select the arrow button in the lower right corner of the graphic, you will be taken to the traditional screen of the terminal application. The traditional screen shows more detailed information about the current operation of the unit, including input and output values. An equipment representation includes animations to display equipment performance. If you select the arrow button in the lower corner again, you will be taken to the dashboard screen of the terminal application. The dashboard shows all the same information as the simple screen, but in a more modern and visually appealing style. Temperature and set points are shown in the center of the dashboard, along with the terminal load being shown at the bottom of the center circle. Humidity is shown in the lower right corner, and air quality is shown in the lower left. The same icons for schedule and operation that were present on the simple screen are shown directly to the left and to the right of the center circle respectively. Future releases will include energy diagnostics in the upper right corner. If you select the right arrow button one last time, you will be taken to the Comfort Index page. The Comfort Index screen monitors the space temperature and space humidity and plots their combined value on a psychometric chart. This is to provide the user information on the performance of the unit compared to ASHRAE Standard 55, Thermal Environmental Conditions for Human Occupancy. There are 3 final pages in the graphical project for the terminal application, and they are for alarming, scheduling, and trending. All 3 of these features are built into the Loytec device and run locally on the controller. You can select the icons located at the bottom of the screen at any time to navigate to these pages. The alarm icon will display a number in red if there are any active alarms. The alarming screen of the terminal application is categorized into multiple alarm servers. The value next to each alarm log shows the current number of alarms that have yet to be acknowledged. There is also an event log, which will monitor and save critical events of the terminal application that changes things like unit type or mode, schedule mode, system units, or ventilation purge mode. There is an option to clear the event log. A pop-up will appear requiring confirmation before the log is cleared. For more information about the alarm page, see section 7.8 of the Terminal Application User Manual. The schedule page can be used to view, edit, or add events for the terminal application. When the LWeb 900 integrated building management system is used, the scheduler can be added to the master scheduler and gives the user the ability to schedule multiple devices at the same time. Additional information about the scheduler can be found in section 7.9 of the Terminal Application User Manual. Lastly, the trend page. All trends store up to 1 year of information. The buttons at the top are used to view trended data from all the trended modes, such as cooling and heating. The information that is available will change depending on how the terminal application is configured. If you click on the trend, you can select which of the trended values are displayed. You can also go to a specific date if you so choose. Additional information about the trend can be found in section 7.10 of the Terminal Application User Manual. Once you have finished configuring the terminal application, it is a good idea to create a new backup of the controller. This backup can then be used to restore not just the configuration of the device, but also port settings and network settings to the controller should there ever be a device failure. To create a backup of the configured terminal device, return to the web user interface for the Lieb 585 controller. Select Config from the left side of the screen, and then select Backup/Restore. You may be prompted to enter the password again. Once you are on the Backup/Restore page, you can check or uncheck the boxes at your discretion to include information about the controller, such as the IP address in the backup. When you select Backup, you will create a zip folder. Save this zip folder for future use. This concludes the Loytec tutorial video for the terminal application. Additional videos and manuals can be found on the Loytec website. If you need support, you can contact Loytec Technical Support using the email address or phone numbers shown here.